Ronin Mode Unmasked Chapter 27, First Impressions. My aunt woke up for a little while and joined in on the conversation too. She was talking about Phoenix, about the family there, about how long the drive was, and about how we just needed to get there safe. Every now and then she would fall back asleep again in the back seat, but even then it felt good having her there. It felt better than being alone with my own head. The night just kept rolling on. Highway. Music. Headlights. Silence. Then more music. Then more silence. And at some point the gas station coffee kicked in, then wore off, then kicked in again. The road had that strange dreamlike quality to it where you lose track of time and just start living between the songs. And the whole while I could feel this strange mixture inside me. Part fear. Part hope. Part exhaustion. Part curiosity. Because somewhere up ahead was Phoenix. And somewhere in Phoenix was Chris's son's family, the grandbabies, the whole emergency, and maybe Sophie too. A girl I had never even met. A girl who had somehow already become a thought in my head before she ever became a real person in front of me. By the time the night started breaking into early morning, the whole vibe in the car shifted. Everybody got quieter. The music got softer. The sky started changing. That dark desert black slowly started giving way to a dim gray-blue line on the horizon. A little later we stopped again so I could fill up the tank, and after that I handed the wheel over to Chris for a while because I was cooked. I crawled into the back seat and passed out hard. The kind of sleep where your body does not ask permission first. When I woke back up, we were there. Not perfectly rested. Not refreshed. Just there. Phoenix. Chris drove us straight to his son's house. The second we pulled in, he was already moving. He did not waste a second. He got out of the car, went straight inside, and my aunt followed right behind him. I stepped in after them and the first thing I saw was Chris talking to his son Danny. There were a bunch of people in the house. A few kids too. Everybody was in the living room looking like they had not slept at all the night before. The whole place had that heavy post-trauma energy to it. Not panic exactly. More like everybody was still living inside the aftermath of something ugly. I did not know any of them yet, so I already felt a little out of place. Honestly, uncomfortable would have been an understatement. Then this tall, dark-skinned young dude, maybe around 17, came up to me and said, "Hello, my name is Eric. I'm Chris's younger son." "Oh," I said. "Cool. I'm Paul. Nice to meet you, bro." He smiled and said, "I already know who you are. My father talks about you all the time." That caught me off guard. Not in a bad way. More in a, damn, I've apparently already been discussed like a family meeting topic way. I laughed a little and said, "That's awesome." Then I looked around the house and asked, "So what happened here?" "The whole place looks like a tornado went through it." Eric's face changed right away. All the lightness dropped out of it. "We were just chilling at home getting ready for the holidays," he said, and then like 3 masked guys busted through the front door with guns. Everybody got told to get down on the floor face down. They started tearing through the house, flipping everything upside down. One of them was like found it, and then they were gone. They told us not to move or call the cops or else. Then they jumped in a red Chevy Suburban and pulled out. "Did you get the license plate?" I asked. He shook his head. "No. It happened so fast they were in and out in like 3 minutes." I stood there for a second trying to put the pieces together. In and out in less than 3 minutes. Forced their way in, but not like they were trying to destroy the place just to destroy it. Nobody got hurt. That part stuck with me right away. Was the founded part, which meant they knew what they were looking for. This was not random. This was planned. I kept that thought to myself for the moment. Then Danny, Chris's older son, came over and spoke to me. He looked like he was somewhere around my age. "Hello," he said. "Paul, right?" "Yeah," I said. "How is everybody holding up?" He looked down a little, like he was carrying the weight of the whole thing on his back. "Everybody's okay, thank God." Then he looked back up at me. "So I hear that you're some kind of martial arts guy?" I nodded. "And by the looks of it," he said, "you look like you're in pretty good shape too." I shrugged a little. "Well, to be any good at martial arts you kind of have to stay in shape. But thank you. I'm not a professional or anything. Or at least I don't think I am. I just try my best." He nodded. "Thanks for coming with my father all the way down here," he said. "I was worried if he came alone he might get pulled over or something worse, and you guys made really good time." "It's cool, bro," I said. I wasn't really doing anything in Texas anyway. Figured it would be cool to get out of there and meet new people, honestly. Then Danny looked at me with this sideways expression like he was debating whether to say something or not. Then he just went for it. "So you're the guy who's supposed to be running away with Sophie or something, right?" My jaw dropped. I froze for a second. Then I just looked at him. He laughed and said, "Sorry, bro. But it's no secret. Everybody loves to gossip around here." Ronin Mode Unmasked Chapter 28, First Impressions, Part 2. I finished my hellos and met the rest of the family, but still no Sophie. At least not yet. And now I was starting to get a little nervous. A little anxious. It felt like everybody already knew who I was and that I was there to sweep Sophie off her feet and run away together into some magical fantasy land. "Everybody loves to gossip," I remember Danny saying. And he was right. And suddenly I was feeling that all over my face. I did not know if Sophie was going to be shy, cold, curious, beautiful, nervous, or all of the above. But the fact that her whole family already seemed to know my business was enough to make me want to step outside for a minute and catch my breath. So I walked over to Chris, who was sitting there playing with his 2 twin grandkids, and I said, "Hey Chris, I'm going to get out of the house for a little bit. Maybe stretch my legs and go for a run or something." "What, the 1,300-mile drive was not far enough for you, Paul?" Chris said back to me sarcastically. That made me laugh a little. "It's not that, bro," I said. "I'm just feeling a little weird. And the fact that you already told the whole state of Arizona about me is not helping, honestly." He nodded like he understood. "Okay, Paul," he said. "Go do your thing. But don't disappear. Sophie should be here later." I nodded. "Yeah, Chris. No worries. I'm not going to chicken out or anything. I'll just go for a short run. I'll be back in like 30 minutes or so." And with that I stepped back outside. And I started walking slow. Then a little faster. Then I broke into a jog. Then a real run. There was something about running that always cleared my head. When I was younger I used to hate it. Back in school, when they made us run in PE, I used to dread that shit. I hated every second of it. But when I finally started taking my health seriously, getting in shape, and learning boxing, running was just part of it. Same with jump rope. Same with everything. At first I did not love it. Then I started needing it. And eventually it became one of those things that could pull all the noise out of my head and leave me with nothing but my breathing, my stride, and the rhythm of my own body moving through space. There was no phone. No drama. No gossip. No family questioning me. No worrying if Sophie was even going to like me. Just movement. Just momentum. Just that feeling of freedom you only get when your mind finally stops fighting you. I ran for a while without really thinking about the distance. Maybe 3 miles. Maybe a little more. I was not counting. I was just letting my body do what it knew how to do. By the time I got back to the house, I had both hands on the back of my head, catching my breath, sweat running down my face, and my chest still pounding. Then I stepped back inside. And that was when it happened. One of those moments where life slows down for no reason at all. Like some cheesy romantic movie scene, except I am telling you that shit is real. I walked into the living room and saw her. Sophie. She was sitting on the couch with her legs crossed, dressed casual but still looking really good. She had on a pair of those nice Coach tennis shoes that were in style back then with young women. Her long brown hair was pulled back in a ponytail. She had light fair skin, with light brown eyes that almost looked green in the light, and a face that made the whole room feel different the second I saw it. Not just pretty. Not just cute. The kind of beauty that stops your brain for a second and makes your whole life feel slightly rearranged. I swear to God, the second I saw her, I knew my life was never going to be the same again. We just looked at each other. For a few seconds neither one of us said anything. I still had sweat all over my body from the run. Black Adidas jogging pants. Black tank top to match. Probably looking like I had just been dragged through a highway and a prayer. And she was sitting there looking completely calm, like she had not just changed the atmosphere in the room by existing. I tried to play it cool and walked into the kitchen to get some water. I took a few seconds there to gather myself and wipe all the sweat off my face. I thought of going to the bathroom to wash up quickly, but I did not want her to think I was dodging her. Honestly, she was way hotter than I ever expected. And that should have made me calm down. But it did not. If anything, it made it worse. So after I got myself together, I walked slowly back into the living room and sat down directly across from her on the other couch. I could tell she was trying to play it cool too. I could feel it. Then I smiled and said, "Hi. My name is Paul. Nice to meet you." She smiled back, bright and easy, and said, "Yeah, I know who you are." We both laughed at that. Then I said, "Yeah, I figured that." Right then Sophie's mom came into the room and said, "Come on, Sophie. Time to leave. We have to get ready for the party." Sophie looked at me and said she had to go, but she was going to be back for the Christmas Eve party later tonight and we could talk more then. I smiled and said, "Cool. Sounds like fun." And then she got up and left. But right before she closed the front door to leave, she looked back at me one more time and smiled and said, "Bye, Paul." That small smile hit me harder than it had any right to. Like she knew exactly what she was doing without even trying. Then she was gone. And I just sat there for a second feeling that weird mix of calm and chaos at the same time. Because now it was real. She was not just some girl Chris had been talking about on the drive. She was not just some story everybody in the house had been gossiping about. She was a real person. And I had finally seen her. 1000% facts.